my name is Ben from Wooby Design, and I have been making things out of recycled skateboards for the last 4 or 5 years. Now, I have been making YouTube videos, and my process was shooting the video and try to use new music every single video, and I edit it to the beat. I break it into different chapters, and I have to do a voiceover and do a graphic inlay and do color grading, and then I have to get it approved. Now, the process takes such a long time that honestly, for the last couple months, I haven't been making YouTube videos. So for this van series, I'm going to change up the format and do something a little bit different. It kind of allows me to just be free and just talk to the camera like we're friends. And I don't have to write a whole new script for it and read it word by word and pretend like I'm not reading it off the script. And I just have little bullet points so that I'm not going off topic. So it'll be a lot easier for you to understand and a lot easier for me to create. Got it? Okay, so first question is, what is van life? And to me personally, what I think van life is just anybody living inside of a van. Pretty simple. And it could be by choice and it could be, by no choice. Now, this lifestyle has been getting popularized, and the idea of you being able to travel in your van, it pleases a lot of people. And with the improvements on the technology, you can have a house inside of a van. And one of the biggest change during the pandemic is that you could work remotely from anywhere as long as you have the internet. That kind of opened up the doors for a lot of people to consider this lifestyle. And especially during the pandemic, a lot of people weren't able to travel outside the US, so what they chose to do is get one of these vans, convert it, and travel around the US, which was my plan as well. Now, of course, all lifestyles have some kind of pros and cons about that lifestyle, and van life is no different. And the biggest argument that comes down to for van life, it really becomes to experience versus safety. With van life, you might be able to experience all kinds of different things, but at the same time, be living in fear that your van might be stolen or broken into. And in other case, you could be living in a safe suburban house where you're not really experiencing much and be stuck at one location. So really, there's no right or wrong answer when it comes down to which is right and which is wrong, and it's gonna be like this whole entire van series. There's no right answers. It really comes down to how you prefer and what you want with your life. And just let other people decide for themselves. Now, my wife and I love to travel, and if we won the lotto tomorrow, we'll just start traveling, and that's all we really want to do. So this seems like a really good opportunity where I could convert the van and she could work on the road as long as she has internet access, and it just makes sense for me. I don't know about you, but I think this is a good idea. And the whole point is just traveling across the US and not permanently living there for years. And I don't know how other people do it, but good on them if they do it. Now, given that I'm going to be pursuing this van life, some of you might be asking, why don't you just buy a van that's already converted? I thought about it too. Now, first of all, these vans are expensive. I think the lowest van conversion that I've seen starts at around $130,000. And the highest I've seen starts at $280,000. And really, no offense to these designers, they're not the most practical designs, and I don't really see the value. A lot of people feel like this, so that's why you see a lot of DIY camper vans and they're converting it themselves. And majority of these DIY camping YouTube videos, they have no idea what they're doing, but they're still doing it and they're doing a really good job. What that proves is I could probably do it too. And honestly, I didn't even realize that I was doing this, but for the last 4 or 5 years, I've been just learning how to use these tools so that I could convert this van tomorrow, pretty much. I didn't know, but that's what I've been training to do. Now, since I'm a content creator now and I have to make YouTube videos for a living, this van conversion is literally gonna pay for itself. So I don't understand why I wouldn't convert my own van. So Okay, so these are the main reasons why I'm converting a Sprinter van into a camper van. Number one, we love to travel. My wife and I will take any opportunity to travel as much as we can, and that's what we've been doing for the last 5, 6, 7 years. 7 years. And I'm sure a lot of you have it on your bucket list to travel across the US on a road trip, and it should be fun. I'm so excited about this, and my wife is super excited, so I'm gonna make this really, really good. Now, secondly, I like to design things and create things with my hands, and I think this is a perfect opportunity for me to create my own design for a van layout and take on a big project like this. And honestly, it feels like for the last 4 or 5 years, I've been learning how to use these tools to get me to where I am, which is converting a $55,000 van, which is a lot of money. This is my first brand new vehicle I ever bought in my life. All my cars have been used, and the car I'm driving right now is 20 years old. And lastly, I think this might be pushing it, but I'm trying to sell it as soon as I'm done with the cross-country trip. So the plan is to travel across the country, fix any problems that I might have, and sell it for maximum profit. So I want to make it as luxurious and put in best of the best products into the camper van so that none of the items are going to be outdated in a couple years. Now, speaking of money, I want to talk to you about the sponsor of this whole van series, which is going to be RZ Mask. Now, during the entire van conversion, I'm going to be wearing these RZ masks, and they're very comfortable to wear, and they filter up to 99.9% of the particulates and filters airborne particulates down to 0.1 micron. But the most important thing about these masks is that it's really comfortable to wear. It's really easy to put on, and it stays on your face, and it's really comfortable for you to move around and do what you have to do, and it's really easy to take off as well. These masks are machine washable, and you could switch out the filters as needed. Now, I've been using RZ masks for a long time, and they protect you in every possible way. Like, for example, I was cutting out the windows with the jigsaw, and all these metal shavings started hitting my face. So having that mask on protected this area, but it got all over my forehead and whatnot. But the point is, you need to wear a mask in a lot of these cases, and make sure to protect yourself. So check out RZ Mask and use the coupon code WOBIERZ20 and get 20% off your purchase. Personally, I like the M2.5 model, so make sure to check it out. Thank you, RZ Mask, for sponsoring this video. Okay, so I'm going to answer the biggest question of this whole entire video. Why did you pick the brand new Mercedes 170 wheelbase, two-wheel drive cargo van? Now, that question is a lot, and I can't just give you one word answer. So I'm going to break down this question and talk to you about it, and you'll know exactly why I got this van. First off, let's focus on the word brand new. Some of you might be asking, why did you get a brand new van versus a used cargo van? Now, one of the main reasons why I didn't get a used van is because I'm not a mechanic. I have no idea how cars work. If you told me to do an oil change right now on my Sprinter van, I would have no idea how to do it. Now, which brings you to the next point. What if it breaks down? I would have no idea what to do. If the mechanic said you have to get a whole brand new engine, I'll be like, okay, that's it. And sometimes your van just might be unsalvageable, so whatever work you put into that van, it's all gone. So instead of wasting $20,000 on a used van, I decided just double my money, or 2.5, and buy a brand new van. Now, if you're one of those people who's really good with these cars and you could fix any kind of problems and know exactly what to do with these used vans, I would say go for it. I think that's a perfect market for you, and if you could somehow find these vans as well, that's another thing. Then I would say do it and go to different auctions and buy these vans and flip it and do what you gotta do. But right now, even used Sprinter vans are really hard to come by, and they're marking these prices up like crazy. Now, let's just say you got one of these used Sprinter vans for a good price. A lot of the times, it's gonna take you months just to take care of the rust and get it ready for a van conversion itself. And I just don't wanna be sanding off rust for months just to get a van ready. So That's another reason why I didn't want to buy used vans. Now, when it comes to new vans, there's a lot of pros about it. The biggest thing is the warranty, and I was able to get the extended warranty for 8 years, 100,000 miles, so I kind of feel like I'm a little bit more safe. Hopefully, I'm covered. Now, another benefit of buying a brand new van is that it has the latest features. Features like blind spot detection, forward collision avoidance assist, navigation system, wireless Apple CarPlay, 360 view camera. Some of these vehicles don't even have a backup camera and you have to install the backup camera, which is, you know. Now, as much as it's a home, it's a vehicle first. So it's important that I have all the latest safety features in this van so that I'm protected, because I'm going to be on the highway a lot. And I'm going to be driving a lot. Now, the next word we want to focus on in that big question is Mercedes 170 wheelbase. Now, some of you might be asking, why did you pick the Mercedes Sprinter instead of Dodge ProMaster or the Ford Transit? Well, the short answer is it's a Dodge or a Ford versus a luxury company called Mercedes. And the long answer goes kind of like this. Now, some of you know this, but for the last 5 years, I have been working as a product specialist for an automotive manufacturer called Hyundai. Now, what I do as a product specialist is pretty much we are the first point of contact between where the manufacturers are selling these vehicles and to the point where it's in customers' hands.
Hi, I'm Gian. And I'm Jesse. We're your hosts and Hyundai product specialists. And this is another special head-to-head edition of Hyundai Showroom Walkaround.
So even before they get to the dealership, they come see us first and pretty much giving them the first impression of these vehicles. And some people might think that these are just car models and, girls on short skirts, showing off and whatnot, but that's not the case. Majority of these product specialists are trained extensively about their brand and about the car industry in general. And honestly, I learned a lot about consumers' buying experience and what motivates people to select certain cars. So pretty much what I do is I go to different auto shows around the US and I represent this company and talk about these cars. And we're not selling these vehicles. And the purpose of my job is to lead them to the dealership where they could pretty much everything up and you know what happens at the dealerships. Now, during the last 5 years working as a product specialist, here are a few things that I've learned about consumers' buying experience and what motivates them to buy a car. And here's an acronym that we all been trained to learn about, which is SPACED. S stands for safety, P stands for performance, A stands for appearance, C stands for comfort, another C stands for convenience, E stands for economy, and D stands for dependability. And all those things can kind of categorize you in a way to help you with your buying experience. For example, appearance. I hate the way the Dodge ProMaster looks. It looks like an ugly fat fish. So these are all the things that I was looking at when I was comparing these three models. And when it comes to these three brands, they're all very similar. They all have 3 different sizes for their vehicles. And I think the Ford Transit even offers them 4x4 and diesel as well. And when it comes to the price, they're only a couple $1,000s off at this point. So the question I started asking myself is, let's say I have a Sprinter van and a Ford Transit. I do the same exact conversion and same exact amount of money goes into both vans. Which van is gonna sell for more? And I know a lot of you might be thinking, it might be the Ford Transit, but most cases, you're probably gonna go with the Mercedes. Let's be real. Now, another reason why I got the Sprinter 170 is because I think that's perfect amount of room for 2 people. I think the longest of the Ford Transit is about a foot shorter than the 170, so I think it was the best way to go, because I think 144 would have been a little too short for 2 people, especially with Toby, and 170 I think is just perfect amount of space for 2 people. And lastly, 2-wheel drive versus 4x4. And honestly, this is almost going to be like touring around the US. It's not going to be this expedition, exploration, crazy adventure and go off-roading and do all kinds of stuff. If it's not paved road, I'm not gonna be on it. Honestly, I'm an LA boy and a little bit of rain freaks me out. So I'm not one of those like adventurous guys that just like pick up a fish and eat it off. I'm not like that. Relax. It's more going to be about being on the road, driving on the highway, visiting as many cities as possible, and it's just gonna be a chill, relaxed time, okay? Doesn't always have to be extreme. God, just chill.
Daddy, chill.
And honestly, after this trip, if I think I need to upgrade to a 4x4, I can do that later in the future, so it's not gonna be a problem. I think two-wheel drive should be fine for now. Okay, so here's what's been happening. So November 2020, we bought the van. We got the brand new 2020 Mercedes Sprinter 170 wheelbase, two-wheel drive, cargo van with premium package. And the premium package includes forward collision avoidance assist, smart cruise control system, 360 view camera, navigation system, wireless Apple CarPlay. Those are a few things, but it was a must-have because of the forward collision avoidance assist. I needed to have that. Now, we bought the van back in November 2020 for $55,000 out the door. And at the time, I thought that was a pretty good deal, but now I think it was an amazing deal. Because right now, if you try to look for a brand new cargo van, you're gonna see price tag that's well above $10,000 or $15,000 above what I paid. And that's how the car industry is operating right now, because they really don't have any cars to sell, because during the pandemic, they were only at 10 or 20% capacity. So they don't have any cars coming in, so whatever cars they have to sell it a little more, but whatever the case, it's gonna be hard for you to get these vans now. And pretty much, I lucked out. And like I said before, I got the extended warranty for, I think it was only like $2,000 or $3,000 for 8 years, 100,000 miles. And from what I know, you're going to be covered under the warranty as long as you don't make any modifications to your engine or the transmission. And I'm not doing any of that. I'm literally just cutting a couple holes, and the only thing that I'm doing to the car is connecting 2 wires to the alternator, which I think doesn't really matter to the engine. But all you geniuses, tell me if I'm wrong, okay? You know what to do. Give it to me. Now, once we purchased the van, my plan was to get started right away, and the first thing that was gonna happen in January 2021 was the van conversion. And that's when I was at the shipping container workshop, and I had to deal with them to convert it, but a couple months later, they had the whole eviction thing, and I made a whole video about it, so make sure to watch that. But my shop was pretty much ready to go starting in July or September of 2021. Yeah. Now that was towards the end of the year, and I didn't want to get started, and pretty much mentally I wasn't ready to get started on this van conversion. So I decided to get started first thing after I came back from my Europe trip, which was in January 2022. And I got COVID and I got stuck for another week and blah blah blah, but here we are now. So now I'm actually ready to get started on the van conversion, and I have the workshop set up in a way that it's going to be the easiest way for me to convert this van, as well as mentally, I'm just prepared now. And I think this is going to be one of the biggest advantage of me having my own shop where I could work on this van, whereas, a lot of these people are doing it out of their garage or, in their apartment. So it's gonna be an advantage for me to have a full-on shop for me to convert this van. Now, unfortunately, it's not big enough for me to park the van inside overnight. So what I actually have to do is I actually have to go pick it up at my friend's store where I have it parked safely. And I have to do that every single day and pick it up, drive to my workshop, and when I'm done with the shop, I have to drop it back off at my friend's store and come back. That usually takes about 30 minutes each way. So Yeah, it's a little bit of give and take there. Now, during the whole time that it's been sitting at my friend's store, it's not like I didn't do anything. I did make sure to have a perfect layout so that all my plans work out and I have the best luxurious camper van on the market. Now, I'll make sure to do what I can to share these plans and make sure that you guys could all get inspired by this design, because I think it should work out for majority of the people out there with this layout. Now, to end this video, what can you expect from this van conversion series? Well, the main point of this van conversion is so that I could turn this cargo van into a luxurious camper van. And I'm going to be showing you step by step and break it down very easily so that you guys could do it too if you wanted to. And it's not really a tutorial per se, but I just want to share with you how I do it. And I'm not saying mine's the right way. Kinda am, but it's just an example and just resource for you. Now, I bought the van for $55,000 out the door, and some of you might be asking, how much money are you going to put in? I'm expecting to put in about $20,000 to $25,000 into the van. And that's not including labor, because, yeah. Now, most likely the price is gonna keep going up because I'm trying to put in the best of the best products out there on the market into the camper van, because some of these products get outdated in a few years and I want to make sure I'm aiming for 5 or 10 years. Now, some of you might be curious how long it's going to take, and I'm expecting it to take about 3 months, and most likely that means it's gonna take about 6 months. We'll see what happens, but I'm working every single day as much as I can, and making these YouTube videos are really hard, and creating a good story, it's not that easy, okay? Now, like I said before, that's the main reason why I want to switch up this video format so that I can make as many videos as possible and make it as easy as possible for me to create these content. Now, that doesn't mean the quality is going to drop, but I'm just saying, I just needed to make it easier so that I could keep going and pump out as many videos as possible, because there's a lot going on in this fan series. And I'm gonna try my best to do everything in order so that you're not missing out on anything, so stay tuned. Now, if you haven't already, make sure to follow me on Instagram. I post daily stories about the van, and if you don't follow me already, I already installed like 4 windows and an air conditioning and max rear fan. You missed out. Now, if you missed out on it, make sure to check out my highlights. I saved it so that you could rewatch it, because I'm a nice guy. And honestly, having a phone and posting on IG stories is just more convenient for me. I could just hold it in my hand and record what I'm doing, and I don't have to set up this whole thing right now, so that's why I like using Instagram. Okay, so that's it for this video. There's a lot coming up next, and this whole van series is gonna be really fun, and I'm trying my best to create as much videos as possible, but make it as easy as possible for me to make these videos, because it's been taking me really long time. Honestly, I have to select brand new music, I have to write scripts and pretend like I'm not reading off the script, and it's just a lot of work making these YouTube videos. So expect changes to this YouTube channel, because there's gonna be changes. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to this channel and turn on that notification bell so you're not missing out on any of the videos related to this van conversion. And if you want to support this channel, make sure to check out my website. I got new shirts coming, and it should be posted on the website now. But if you want to go further, check out my Patreon page where I have a ton of rewards, and you get a box of scraps and skateboards, so make sure to check it out. And let me know down in the comments below what you want to see throughout this whole van conversion. Until next time.